Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bindu. So today there's two things that I want to talk about because I have recently received a lot of questions about it. People have watched the video where I gave like my full testimony and story about finding out I wanted to be a PA and getting into PA school. And because I've received so many questions, I'm wondering if maybe I wasn't that clear on some things. So I am making this video just to sort of address those questions. And if you end up having more questions, feel free to send me a message. I think at this point, I actually would prefer an email. So you can email me at bearingchristfruits@gmail.com. I'll put that below, but you should still be able to find it if you go to like the About Me section on my YouTube page. So the two things is about GPAs and what to do if you have a lower GPA, as well as patient care hours. If this video starts to get too long, I think I may just separate these two topics and just put the videos out at the same time, so that way you can reference either one or watch them both. But let's see where this goes. So first, let's talk about GPAs, and I'll go over my story and try to summarize it because I can only speak from my experience and I can give you opinions off of my experience. So, because some people have asked, should they retake classes or should they pursue a master's degree? So let's go back to how I ended up getting a master's degree. So when I finished undergrad, my GPA was a 3.0. And keep in mind, that was my GPA according to the school. And that was including, there were some classes that I retook that maybe I got a D in, or even some that I failed. And I retook those. And so I don't know if this is the same for all colleges, but so for where I went to school, if you retook a class, the new grade that you got replaced the old grade, so you got a GPA boost. However, CASPA counts every single grade. So if you got an F, a D, whatever your grade is, CASPA includes that. So your GPA is lower in CASPA than what your actual GPA is. Unless you got all A's and B's, I guess. So that's that. So again, I finished undergrad, GPA was a 3.0. Also, so in my prereq courses, there were some classes that I got a C in that not only is my overall GPA low, but my science GPA and prerequisite GPA was low as well. In addition to that, there were some prerequisite courses that I had not taken at this point. So that is when I ended up deciding to do a pre-health post-bac program, because I needed to, one, boost my GPA by retaking some of the courses that I got C's in. I needed to actually take some of the prereqs that I needed, and all of that together, I was hoping that it would boost my GPA, my overall GPA, as well as my science GPA. So the reason that I didn't decide to just pay to take those classes is because there was a lot of them. I hadn't had genetics. There are some schools that do require it. I don't think, so I hadn't taken general chemistry 1 or 2 technically, because there was a different chemistry. I started off in undergrad as a nursing major, and so there was a different type of chemistry that you took, and I don't think it counted. And one of them, I don't think I got the best grade in anyway. So I needed to take general chemistry 1 and 2. So y'all got that. So we got genetics, we got general chemistry 1 and 2, including the labs. I needed to take, what do we got? We got genetics, general chemistry 1 and 2. I needed to take organic chemistry. And I needed to retake microbiology. And I needed, this would probably be helpful if I pulled up my transcript. Give me 1 second. Those were the courses that I just said that I needed, and then some of the ones that I needed to retake. And then because of that, that was what, like 5 different classes. Granted, I could have probably went to like some community college or something like that, and maybe paid to get it, or I paid out of pocket. But also because there were multiple classes, and I wanted to be able to have like financial aid, because I was also still working, and I could not afford for all of my money to go towards paying for those courses at that time. And so and I don't even know if I knew about the tuition reimbursement program at my job at that point, or if I was eligible for it. I'm not exactly sure. I probably wasn't eligible for it yet. So yeah, I needed to retake those. And then I started just doing more digging, and I found that the pre-health post-bac program was geared towards people trying to go into some health profession program. So I'm like, let me actually just complete another program, which in a sense is like a second bachelor's degree. And let me show that, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get like this 4.0 GPA that will show that, okay, even though I did not have the highest GPA in undergrad, look at what I did now, which is again like a second doing undergrad again in a way, right? So that was why I wanted to do that. And then I also wanted those classes that I got to now be incorporated in the CASPA GPA, both for the overall and the science GPA. So I took those courses, and I also took some additional courses. I took Intro to Pharmacology. So I wanted to take more upper level courses as well. I retook Anatomy and Physiology, and got A's, Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2, got A's in those. I took Histology. And I think there was like one more. I retook General Biology as well, because I had a C in it. I took Biochem, just an upper level course. I took like this health issues research seminar class. Yeah, those are the courses that I took in the post-bac program. Hopefully this is clear. That is why I ended up doing a post-bac program. I thought it would overall just make my application look better. However, upon finishing the post-bac program, I believe, I don't have that transcript pulled up, but my GPA when I finished that was either a 3.0 or a 3.1. So still, it's not a low GPA, but when you consider like a health professions program such as PA, medical school, whatever, that is considered to be low. And then again, you have to consider, we're not just looking at that GPA, we are looking at the CASPA calculates your GPA to be. Now keep in mind, there are some programs that will just look at like your last, I don't know if it's like 40 or 60 credit hours, so that helps too, and then seeing like the upward trend. So again, that's why I did that program. Everyone has their own things that they're dealing with. So I said this in the other video. For me, it was me learning that I had ADHD, learning that I learn differently, especially when it comes to science. And so I was still learning about that when I first started this post-bac program. And so there were some courses that I still got a C in when I took it. And so again, so didn't end up with the highest GPA in the post-bac program. And so so at this point, again, I finished school. I finished that program, didn't have the highest GPA. So I believe at this point, I think I still went ahead and applied and still did not get in. So at this point, looking over my application, I already had a lot of patient care hours. I did continue to work, and also in the post-bac program, I was also working again while learning how I learned in science. And so there's that. And then so at this point, I'm like, okay, what else can I do? I continued to work, so my issue wasn't really worrying about patient care hours. At this point, the only thing on my application that did not look that great was my GRE score and my GPA. So I'm like, okay, let me see what else I can either retake. So I ended up paying at this point to retake a couple of other classes, and I believe at this point I retook genetics. So coming into the postgrad program, I did not have genetics. I got a C in genetics. So then I retook genetics and paid for it out of pocket at this NC State program. I took that with microbiology because I think I also got a C in microbiology in the postgrad program. So I retook both of those and was like, okay, let me get what grade I can get out of here. And then I ended up with a B in genetics and a B+ in general microbiology. And then I was like, okay, let me take another science course to see what I could do to add on to my science GPA. So then I paid to take I took immunology at State as well. So hopefully that sort of clears that part out, right? So after finishing that, I believe I applied again. Yeah, I did apply again, and at this point I still didn't have like a really good, I think I might have got like a 140 something on both parts of the GRE. Like it was a very low score. So as you know, the way that CASA calculates your GPA, like at some point you're gonna take classes and it's just not gonna, your GPA is just not gonna go up that much more. And so again, as I said in the other video, noticing that from like my GPA was kind of going up on CASA, but it wasn't a big increase. And then so I was looking at some of the schools that, you know, looked at the last 40 or 60 credit hours and that actually cared about the upward trend of your GPA, and things like that. And so I reached out to the program coordinator or admissions coordinator and you know, asked what else, you know, could I possibly do? What did they think about my application? Things like that. And obviously patient care was not a problem for me. And it was based on like my GPA and GRE score. You know, they see the upward trend in the grades, but I would probably have a hard time. She said I would probably have a hard time convincing the admissions committee that I can do well in rigorous science, master's science program. And so that is why I ended up doing a master's degree. Because one, I wanted to show I can succeed in an upper level, in an advanced master's degree, and in a complete rigorous coursework. Because the program that I did, a lot of the classes that we took were the same courses that they gave to their first year medical students, which means a lot of what is being learned will also be learned in PA school. So I thought, okay, well, if I take this and can do well in it, you can't question whether I can do well in your program or not, because I just kind of did well in a program that is almost just like yours. So that is why I ended up doing it. But keep in mind, at this point, I had all my prereqs, and I had increased the grades in a lot of my prereqs courses, like with A's and B's. I did still have a C in General Chemistry 1 and 2. I was not retaking that. It wasn't happening. So that is why I did the master's program. And then I wanted to also, for that to be added to my CASA GPA as well. And then also CASA, I think they had a section for like masters, for a master's GPA. So I wanted them to see all of these things, and that is why I ended up doing the master's program. So to the people that have asked if they should do a master's degree, if you have not increased your prereq GPA, if you have not taken all the classes that you need and have a decent prereq GPA, a master's degree is not going to help you. It doesn't make sense to do it. Let me also say, as far as like picking a master's degree, I spoke with someone when I was reapplying, and they gave this advice, and that was something that I considered when I did the degree, was if in the event, I don't want y'all to think this way, because for me, I'm like, it's gonna happen regardless. But if in the event, for some reason, God forbid, PA didn't work out for you, what would you do with this degree? So for me, I was already working in clinical research, and still am. And so, not that you need a master's degree for it, but I was like, okay, this would be something that will help my career in clinical research if I end up deciding to stay in it. Now that's a strong if now, because for me, I was like, I'm going to PA school regardless. So that's something to consider too. One, if you have all your prereq courses and you make sure you got like A's and B's in them, it's okay if you have some C's. It's all right. I'm just saying, like, in my opinion, it would not be best to apply with nothing but C's in your prereq GPA. I mean, in your prereq courses. There could be people out there that did get in with all of those. I don't know. But I don't think that's the best idea. So yeah. So if you have decent grades in those and you are like, okay, I need to increase my science GPA a little bit more, then okay, then do a master's program. And if you feel like you wanted to get a second degree anyways, like maybe you wanted to get a master's in public health, then okay, go ahead and do that as well. That could be helpful. But if you do not have the grades that you need in your prereq GPA, it doesn't make sense to do a master's, because most master's programs you're not going to take those classes. So it's like you got a master's, but yet you still don't have the prereq courses that you need. You can't apply. You get what I'm saying? Like, I hope that makes sense. So it's like, it doesn't make sense to do it because you wouldn't be able to apply to the school anyways, because you either don't have the classes you need to apply, or don't have the grades that are necessary in order to be able to apply. So just consider those things. As far as if you should do a pre-health post-bac program or just like take your classes, that's up to you. So and it depends on how fast you want to move, and you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to feel like you have to rush to do anything. I'm not saying that I'm old, but literally I think the week after school starts, I'm going to be 30 years old. So I'm starting this journey at the age of, well, PA school, I would say the journey is a long journey, but I'm starting PA school at the age of 30. So like, it's okay. Like, if you don't have to rush and be like, okay, I want to do this immediately outside of undergrad. I can understand why you would want to, but you don't have to do that. And so, yeah, so as far as that, I would say if it's a couple of classes, and if everyone's situation is different, but if it's a couple of courses and you feel like you can pay to take those out of pocket, that will help your GPA, then okay, go ahead and do that. Or if you have a pretty decent overall GPA, and it's just that you want to increase your prerequisite GPA, or get better grades in those classes, then, and it's just like maybe 2 or 3 courses, I would say, okay, just go ahead and pay to take it out of pocket and just take those instead of completing an actual program. So that's an option for that. But if your situation was like mine, where like there was classes that you still needed to take, you wanted to take even more science courses to boost that GPA, and you want to be able to like get financial aid and things like that, then maybe a pre-health post-bac program is better for you. And actually, I'll link the program that I went to below, as well as some of the other ones that I was considering or that I have heard about afterwards. Like, I think PCOM has one. I guess there's like 2 options. Or is that a master's program they have? I don't know. I'll see what I can find, and I'll link them below to help you. I will also put the link to, I live in North Carolina, so you would probably end up having to pay like out of state tuition if you did this program. Well, this isn't really a program, but this is the where after completing my post-bac program, I ended up just taking these individual courses because I could take them online while I was working. So yeah, I'll link those below so you can see. So I hope that kind of helps you to consider like what you should and shouldn't do. So now getting into patient care. So I've had people sort of ask both about their GPA and what they should do with regarding patient care, that they don't have that many patient care hours, and also they have a low GPA. So for me, I said this before, I know that my GPA was low, one, because I was working through undergrad. I worked through the pre-health post-bac program. In fact, my first time not working was when I did the master's program, because it was just really not possible. So yeah, that was that. And everyone's situation is different. So I had to work in undergrad. I had a single mom. Things need to be taken care of. I had to take care of things on my own too without having to try to bother my mother. So I did work through undergrad. I feel like I definitely had to work. Now, and that could be other people's situation, and I totally get that. And that's something that you can include in your personal statement or in your application. I will maybe make a video regarding a personal statement and talk about how I incorporated that into my personal statement. But my advice regarding the patient care versus in your GPA, if those are both things that you're worried about at the moment, one, if you don't have to work, forget the patient care. Let me tell you what I mean. You can maybe find, like, if you're able to find like a job and maybe pick up some hours on the weekends or whatever to be able to get like that, like to show like the consistency and longevity of like you working in patient care. I can get why you want to do that. So if that's what you want to do, okay, then find something that you could do like on the weekend or like once a week maybe, and do that so that you can focus on your GPA. If I did not have to work, I would not have worked. And there's people, don't get me wrong, there's people that have full-time jobs that have 4.0 GPAs. Everyone is different. I know for me, that's a little overwhelming. But if you feel like if you're able to do that, then okay. But I'm referring to the people that are saying, okay, I don't have the highest GPA and I don't have patient care hours. If you don't have to work, focus on getting that GPA up instead of having to keep on like, okay, and not to say you cannot get into PA school with a low GPA, because clearly I did not have the highest GPA, but I think it would be better to get your GPA to where you want it to be and get those good grades in those prereq courses, and not have to stress about that, not have to do like I did, going to do a pre-health post-bac program and then taking classes out of pocket and then going to do a master's degree program and all of those things. If you can knock that out when you're in undergrad, then do that. Get your GPA up, and then after you finish undergrad, work for a year or whatever to get those patient care hours. And again, if you have to, then it's a different story. If you have to work, you might as well work in patient care and get those hours. So that would be my advice there. And if you finish and you're still trying to figure out, okay, I graduated and I don't have the highest GPA, then based off the first part of this video, or the first part of this, where I said figure out what you want to do, if you're doing a pre-health post-bac program, retaking courses or whatever, and if you think that working is affecting that, then stop. If you don't have to now, everyone is different, get that up and then focus on getting the rest of your hours. That is my best advice as far as when it comes to GPA. Because like I said, you don't want to have to keep stressing about that and doing different things and putting money into it if you don't have to. And I'm just telling you guys from like I don't want to say mistakes because I've learned from them. I feel like it was a part of my journey, but in a way, yeah, I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. So that's what I would say about that. And then I've had people, I'm gonna make sure that I'm answering. And then there are programs that will look at more than just your GPA, obviously. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying like, make sure you have the highest GPA because nothing else matters. No, that isn't the case, but it's like, why would you want to have to stress about that when you don't have to? Yeah, so that's that. And then I've had people ask me about like how to get patient care hours. And so for me specifically, I got a CNA certification and I got it when I was in high school. If you do not know where to start, I think that a certification is your best bet, because it's a guaranteed like job. Like if you get a nursing assistant certification, y'all, I get emails every single day with nursing assistant jobs that they're looking for. With nursing assistant nurses, like they need them. So that's an easy thing. If you were to get an EMT certification, those are needed as well. A medical assistant certification, those are needed as well. However, there are some jobs that are equivalent to pretty much being like a CNA or a medical assistant that don't require certifications. There are some places that hire medical assistants that don't have to be certified, whether it be that they train you or sometimes they don't. You just don't have to be certified. Also, there are some, in the beginning of my patient care, I was a home health aide before I started to work in the hospital. Those counted as patient care hours. And I was certified, I did have my certified nurse, I was a nursing assistant at the time, and I did have that certificate. But there are some home health jobs that just are looking for a home health aide that you don't have to have a certification. So you can look at those as well. You can search like home health aide, things like that. Some of them don't require that, so you can get a job that way. Again, I just said the thing about the medical assistant. Clinical research, not like at the industry or corporate level, that obviously doesn't count because you're not really doing anything with patient care. But at like a hospital level and at a site level, that counts as patient care, because you are, you're going to be taking vitals, you're going to be drawing blood, all those different things. And so that doesn't require a certification. So if you're able to find that, it also, I will say, pays a lot better than a nursing assistant. So if you're able to look into those sort of options, so you can search for like clinical research specialist, study coordinator, clinical research coordinator, jobs like that you can get without a certification, and it does still count as patient care. So if you're able to find a job without having to get certified, I would suggest do that. Why not? But if you feel like you're having a hard time, then just take the time to get a certification and then go ahead and start working. I guess this will just be one video. Yeah, so that's my like best advice there. I know like someone had asked a question related to being a medical scribe, and while we're here, let me grab my laptop and let me actually look. But I don't think, I feel like that counts as patient care. Okay, so I don't take too much time. I'll look at that and then maybe put like something down here to let you know if I found the answer to that for my specific program. But my advice to that would be, look at the program that you're interested in going to and see if they consider that whatever you're doing as patient care. And if that works, I don't really see a need in going to get another certification. Like I just don't see the point to especially during these days with inflation. I don't see the point in like paying to get it. I think like there's some people that, I don't know if I guess like some people might be like, well, me getting a certification shows like my commitment that I want to go do this. But again, there's people who don't get certifications to anything and they just work, and so it doesn't make you less of a good candidate or anything like that. So my personal advice is, I don't think it makes, I don't want to say I don't think it makes sense, but you don't have to do that. If you're able to work in whatever it is that you're doing and your program considers it to be patient care, just stick to that. I hope that this answers your question, or questions that I have been receiving. Thank you so much for watching, and if you feel like this video has helped you or any of my videos, I do ask you to please subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. You can just say, a part that maybe stood out to you or anything, because it helps YouTube to know that y'all are enjoying these videos, that they're helpful, and putting them out there more for more people to see it. So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. I don't ask for much from y'all, but if y'all could just do that, that would really help me out. So yeah, like I said, message me. I prefer that you send me an email, barrenchristfruit@gmail.com, with specific questions that you have. So yeah, I hope this was clear. And yeah, let me know if you have questions or if there's another video that you want me to, and if it's a quick question, go ahead and send it to me on Instagram, because then I have those there and I can make another video about it. But yeah, Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.